Everyone, thank you for joining. I have Guest Manual over here who has graciously agreed to do a presentation with us. I'll let them kind of introduce themselves, but my name's Troy. I'm the head of marketing for StayFi, and we wanted to take a moment to walk you guys through how we would recommend using AI and just the most recent tech that there is available to help you automate a five-star guest experience. We find that a lot of our hosts and PMs are very much in the trenches doing a lot of these things manually. And there's a lot of ways that we can automate processes that will help guests genuinely have a really wonderful and authentic guest experience. So we will be leading a conversation today. Shahar, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Troy. Excited to be here. My name is Shahryar Khan. I'm the CEO of Guest Manual, serial entrepreneur out of Seattle. My wife and I are both Airbnb hosts, have been hosting for well over a decade now. We identified a specific need, a gap around streamlining or automating the guest experience, and we built Guest Manual. Have been using it and figured out that this thing also belongs in every single short-term rental all around the world. And we have thousands of people, thousands of hosts also using it to improve the guest experience in their Airbnbs.
Thank you so much. So today we're going to take you through a couple of different things which we've basically broken down by before the guest checks in, during the stay, and after the stay to give you guys recommendations on how to use different tools to automate that experience in a way that basically you set up, it can run fairly passively, and it genuinely makes a difference in creating a five-star stay. So we'll give you a brief introduction to why you're going to want to use automation for some of these processes, and then the finer points of both what we would recommend in getting set up, managing things actively, and ultimately helping create a situation where you have a guest that is booked, happy, and coming back more and more times for more direct bookings, getting well acquainted with your brand, and showing off all the wonderful things that you have to offer. Just a quick intro from me on StayFi. If you haven't heard of us before, we are a Wi-Fi and guest marketing platform. So the number one thing that we help you do is collect guest information from every single person that stays at any of your rentals, centralize that information in one place, and then we provide you with the most powerful guest marketing tools that we can to actually make use of that list and create more rebookings, direct bookings, and build guest loyalty within anyone who has stayed with you and may otherwise think that you're just another Airbnb, even though you've put so much time, effort, and attention into making your rental a wonderful place to stay. So.
Guest Manual is an AI native platform that helps hosts, one, deliver a seamless guest experience, two, reduce time, save time by reducing questions, and three, drive more five-star reviews and rebookings. Okay. We do this by making it super easy for hosts to create a AI-powered guidebook. Literally takes under a minute to create. You'll see that in the demo. It looks like an app, feels like an app. It's not an app, so guests have nothing to download. Anchored, a sort of core component of our guest book guidebook is a digital concierge. This is a AI-powered concierge that literally can have a conversation with guests and answer all of their questions. And then the platform learns from all the questions that are being asked and offers suggestions back to the host, thus making a more comprehensive guidebook and also making them a better host over time.
Okay. So some goals for the session. So we're obviously going to help you understand how you can best use some of these technologies to give your guests the best day possible. But before the stay, really it's about setting clear instructions for their stay in terms of logistics, what to expect at the property, get people excited and help them plan their trip. During the stay, we're going to show you guys how you can make that property information and any local information insights super easily accessible. So your guests will be able to, reach anything that you're trying to provide for them in a moment's notice. Also, some options for providing actual unique recommendations and local experiences, whether or not you are acquainted with the area, some technological solutions for that. And then post-stay, just how to keep in touch and reward loyalty with things like discounts, and just making sure that you become a regular part of the vacation experience. So starting with before the stay, um, I will let you take it off, actually.
So many hosts out there have a physical binder that they keep at the Airbnb. Oftentimes, this has information about what the Airbnb includes, rules, safety related suggestions or guidance, and then also recommendations around things to do in the area. I think most Airbnb hosts are used to having something like that. The challenge with that sort of a model is guests only get to see that when they actually arrive at the property. I think uh, really what needs to happen, what drives a five-star experience, helps you exceed expectations, is to share a lot of that information prior to their stay and build excitement and anticipation leading up to the stay. And so for that, you need a digital guidebook. Okay. Guests have an expectation. They can get instant access to check-in instructions, property information before, during, and after their stay. And guests also require 24/7 on-demand assistance. So 2 o'clock in the morning, how do I turn on the jets on the hot tub? These are the types of questions that come up, and guests are used to asking those questions and they expect an immediate response. Why does this type of automation matter for hosts? Well, it's about giving hosts their life back. Instead of being tethered to your phone all the time, you can have a concierge or a guidebook basically answer a lot of those questions for you. It helps you market your property. If there's a guest that's coming to your property and they know that there's a hot tub, they can see pictures and they can see other amenities not included in the short-term rental listing, it actually helps you increase awareness and market some of those features. And then it's always communicating rules and regulations is a slippery slope, but having them included in your guidebook is an easy way to get them, communicate them, and have them be well understood. Okay. A digital guidebook, once you have a digital guidebook in place, what you want to do is you want to set up your PMS or Airbnb or VRBO, OTA or PMS to automatically share a link to that guidebook before the guest stay. Typically, we recommend doing it an hour after their booking and then 24 to 48 hours before their check-in. Again, just so they have the information at their fingertips. Now, while a digital guidebook is what I would sort of consider to be table stakes in today's sort of hosting environment, with over 10 million listings, 7 million plus hosts all around the world, it's really about differentiation. What can you do to actually stand out amongst the competition? And so while a guidebook provides the information to guests when before they need it or when they need it, an AI-powered guidebook basically helps you further differentiate and level up your hosting game. Yeah. An AI-powered guidebook handles things like recommendations. So as a host that has a cabin in the mountains, we have to maintain a separate set of recommendations for the summer, for the winter, for the fall. It's a year-round destination. And what an AI-powered guidebook does is gives you live seasonal recommendations automatically. Okay. Whatever you include in your guidebook is exposed in the form of a concierge. And before your stay, this concierge can be used to help you plan your stay. Okay. Our experience has shown that when a guest books a place, their mind immediately shifts to, okay, now I have a place to stay. What am I going to do there, right? And having an AI-powered guidebook allows you to ask questions like, help me plan my 25th wedding anniversary. Or helps you ask questions like, what's the best coffee shop nearby? It helps you plan that trip and figure out what you're going to be doing leading up to your actual stay.
And then very complementary to what you're able to do with a guidebook, honestly, just zooming out a little bit from our experience, we kind of created this product called the homepage to take everything that we've been speaking with and make sure that you can kind of organize the many, many things that you can include both within your digital guidebook and outside. So what you see here on the right is our homepage product, and essentially it's built on a Linktree type model and gives you a place where you can succinctly offer different custom buttons and links that will drive guests immediately to wherever you feel they would need to go. So obviously you could nest something like guest manual within the guidebook, but you also have the option to um, go to different parts of your guidebook and link specifically there. You can link directly out to something like an AI concierge that would be extremely helpful. But also you're able to put in, other types of information that guests will find helpful. A direct booking link is something that you'll always want to include so that people can check out your full portfolio. And we also recommend using different kinds of tools like the HostCo or Viator, which are just two of our integrations that we have that are offered with basically any of our Wi-Fi marketing plans. But you can, of course, use those services separately if you'd like. But giving people the ability before the stay to book something really special, like a five-star chef coming and making you a meal within your home, doing an in-home massage, or booking, really unique experiences, going out and seeing dolphins, doing guided hikes, things like that. You are able to both create a really unique experience for a guest, build a bit of that brand cachet by being the person, that conduit that showed the guest something that could realistically spark joy, and make them want to come back. And while doing all of those things and increasing your chance of a rebooking, you also have the ability to make some commission on any upsold experiences, which I don't think anyone in this webinar would hate. So um, yeah, I think it's really just about taking a moment to give guests immediate access at any point in time that they need it to, anything that might pop into your mind. The most successful people that kind of utilize this homepage, customers that we have, are ones who think, what will a guest be wondering about? How do I plan my vacation? And then kind of adapting the product to suit your guests' kind of unique needs. This is just an example or some zoomed in photos of the homepage. So again, all of these buttons are custom, but the host code would be linked to shop amenities at its default setting, and then local attractions would be something like a Viator. You also have the ability to offer things like a pet fee, early check-in, late checkout. You can automate a lot of things through these kind of platforms as well, that will kind of just take a lot of the guesswork out of out of it for the guests, gives them clear instructions on how to do things like that, and also will reduce the amount of people that are coming to you asking for support questions. Now we'll head into during the stay.
So as we shift into during the stay, guests really should be able to enjoy their time at the property rather than figure out how to enjoy their time at the property. And what I mean by that is things like, how do I use a coffee machine? How does a smart TV work? How do I turn on the dishwasher? Is there a laundry machine? This sort of information is what guests should have at their fingertips before their stay, but especially during their stay. Now, when you think about some of these amenities, let's use the dishwasher as an example. It's one thing to have this sort of paragraph or a couple of paragraphs that explains all the different controls in the dishwasher, and another thing altogether to have a little video that describes how to use it. Okay, so a guest manual is an AI-powered digital guidebook that has multimedia support that allows you to add photos and videos that makes it much faster and easier to get a lot of your questions answered. At the core of Guest Manual is a concierge, a digital concierge. This is a 24/7 co-host, if you will, somebody that can basically answer a lot of the questions that you have. It's literally like a hotel desk-like concierge, but they know just not just about amenities nearby, not just about things to do nearby, but they also know about how does the dishwasher work, how does the heating system work. This guest manual is shared before their stay and shared just prior to their stay. And with StayFi, it's a really nice automation where as soon as a guest connects to Wi-Fi, they see the homepage and then they can get the guest manual from that homepage. And that's true not just for the person that booked the stay, that's for every guest that's actually staying at the property. That's what makes the StayFi Guest Manual sort of combination so compelling, is because you get even more eyeballs on your actual guest manual. In addition, it's a good idea to have a QR code for your guest manual inside your property. And so this is, many different touch points that you can have your guests engage with to get access to your guest manual. Additionally, guest manual allows you to save. You can save the guest manual to your phone. Most people access their digital guidebook from their phone, and so they can literally use it before, during, and even after their stay.
And yeah, touching on what you just mentioned with actually being able to show your guest manual and your homepage to every guest, um, you do want to have something that obviously it's great to send a message through the PMS to the booker and get that information in front of people. Generally, that's the person that's planning the trip, but a lot is lost when you don't have the ability to show these types of tools, products, and offerings to everyone at the property. You're a lot more likely to have 6 people looking at your homepage or your guest manual and check out an activity that really piques their interest and convince the group to go out and do that and have that experience. So from our side, we do recommend having a Wi-Fi powered welcome. So, in addition to that PMS messaging, any of your guests are going to come through, and then to actually gain access to the Wi-Fi, they'll see a splash page, much like you would encounter in an airport or a cafe over here to the right. And then we're able to time things like emails, texts, and more to that actual Wi-Fi sign in. So in addition to people seeing your your guests seeing your homepage after going through that splash page, you'll also have an email come through automatically with a link to that homepage to the guest manual, so that they have that always available to them on their trip if they check their email. If you use an SMS marketing tool like StayFi, you can also have that sent directly to their phones, so that obviously someone with very, very little effort can go into their texts, search, and have access to either their guest manual or the homepage, in a couple of seconds, which is really, really helpful. This is kind of just a quick diagram of how the Wi-Fi marketing would work. So everyone that's coming through here would find your Wi-Fi network, enter their information. Obviously, at that point in time, you also capture all of that guest information. So everyone that stays at your property, you have the ability to reach back out to and form a relationship with. Many times we'll see people rebooking from a property, and it's not the booker. It's someone that was maybe staying for a group trip or a vacation with another family. And at the end of the day, especially if someone is coming through an OTA and hadn't made that original booking, if they don't see your brand or have the ability to, form that relationship with you, stay in touch, be reminded of that trip, you lose them potentially as a guest forever. So it's, critically important in our eyes to be able to build a direct booking business outside of an OTA, and you need the information to do that. But yeah, so after that data capture point, people will see your homepage, and then they will receive an automatic email and or SMS message with all of those relevant URLs.
So as a host, I think everybody can attest to the fact that if you're ever on a transatlantic or cross-country flight, there's this sort of anxiety that sets in when you land. It's like, okay, what questions did I get from my Airbnb guests? And I was not available to actually answer those questions, right? Now that extends to like sleeping as well. You go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, you wake up at 7, and you see some questions that that happen around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden the types of things that start going through your mind are my hosts, are my guests happy? Are they going to ding me on my review for this day because I wasn't able to answer their question right away? Anybody in the hospitality business really knows that it's like being responsive is the name of the game. You know? Now, with a 24/7 AI concierge like the kind Guest Manual has built into it, you save hours of repetitive messaging. So I'm talking about basic questions that come up over and over again. Those are just things that can be handled through the concierge by leveraging the information that you include in your guidebook. Okay. Uh, you know, the key to driving five-star reviews, a five-star guest experience, is really about anticipating what guests need and giving it to them before they even know that they need it, right? And so that's it's like help guests help themselves, help them answer the questions that they have before they even have those questions. And then the concierge feature actually takes it a step further, where it's not just answering guest questions. It's like something that allows the host or this AI to actually have a full conversation with the guest. And so, what does it mean to have a full conversation? I'm talking about a contextual conversation. What's the best coffee shop nearby, followed by what drink should I order? Okay. Or what's the best way to explore the neighborhood? And it suggests, use the bicycles, and you can ask it where the bicycle's stored. This uh, automation or this capability is made available only now, and only now because of the state-of-the-art AI tools have just become available. For the guest, what an AI concierge represents is local knowledge at their fingertips. This is all the insider tips, all the secrets. It's personalized for every property and every location, and it's contextual, right? And so you don't have to give context. You don't have to. The guest doesn't have to basically write a paragraph for every question that they ask. They can actually have a full conversation. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, what does this mean for guests? What this means is a very nice sort of experience where they can spend time enjoying their time at the place, enjoying their stay, as opposed to wondering how to enjoy it. And then for hosts, what this means is reduced stress level and common questions, questions that can be answered automatically. Guests or hosts don't have to be tethered to their phone all the time to be able to run their hosting business.
Yeah, and I think honestly, one of the amazing things about this is that you, by using something like this concierge, are really taking people away from things like Google as well, and keeping them within this kind of branded portal, reminding them that you're responsible for all of the things happening within their experience at the trip. Because, I would assume 10, 15 times a day if I'm on a trip, probably. I'm hopping over to Google, I'm asking it, find me local restaurants in the area. I'm going over to Yelp, I'm coming back, trying to see, what should be done during my day. So actually having this conversation flow with immediate responses, really, really specific recommendations that are targeted, keep you from spending, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes figuring it out yourself, and providing recommendations like that really does make a huge difference in your experience, kind of thing. So that will kind of bridge into what we would recommend doing after the stay to keep guests engaged and really get them coming back after they've had a fantastic experience. So what we would kind of recommend is, after they've already had a good experience, it is, in our opinion, your job to turn a guest into a fan of the brand. So you've done all the legwork already, right? They've come to your unit, they've had a wonderful stay, they have a ton of great things to think about it. And you want to take that opportunity to turn them into a loyal guest as quickly as possible before that kind of starts to fade in their memories, right? So the best way to do that without being, too invasive, we found, is really email marketing. So once you have that guest's information and you've had the stay, what you can do is, kind of set up either a drip campaign that's tied to automations, or send them newsletters to keep them engaged. And also that's an opportunity to show people your full portfolio. So obviously some guests will want to come back to the same area for a similar type of trip or stay in the same, rental that they have before, but people like to obviously travel all over the place. And if you're a larger property manager with a lot of units, that's an important thing to let your guests know because they know that they'll have that kind of fantastic experience at any of the properties since you're managing it. Sort of the automations that we would recommend and have available specifically within StayFi are a post-departure automation, which would be triggered as soon as someone leaves the unit. So it's tied to your PMS. You have that information, and it'll automatically send it basically with a link to your direct booking website. You can offer something like a discount to keep people engaged, but it's just a good way to have that next branded touch point and also a good opportunity for you to ask for a review or something like that to catch people in that stage. It's also really effective to have, kind of an anniversary email set up. So you're just as a regular person not going to be able to obviously manage every single person who's stayed with you about 1 year as you're approaching it, check in with them and manually send off all of those emails. Or if you did, it would take a very, very long time. So that's something that, you can get set up automatically to send in a couple of minutes, and forever your guests will be receiving an anniversary email that reminds them of their trip, kind of inspires nostalgia, and can get them to come back. And then a couple of different newsletter types that we'll walk you through as well. Some more general newsletters, some that are more targeted towards pointed promotions, and then upcoming availability, which is something that we've generated to basically solve for the issue of last minute availabilities, cancellations, and things like that. Just taking a moment to kind of frame why we would recommend using an email marketing tool that's specifically made for vacation rentals over something like a MailChimp. We have specifically developed this tool so that you can create both automations and newsletters in seconds to a couple of minutes, depending on how you're using it. We really do believe that there are effective ways to increase direct bookings without putting in a ton of legwork. Obviously, the more effort that you're spending on your email marketing, the greater results that you'll have. But at this point, we would recommend to basically any vacation rental owner, no matter how small or large, to start forming a relationship with their guests. So, we've had or spent some time over the past year making some of those automations. So sending an email at Wi-Fi sign-in, anniversaries, those post-departure automations, and then for newsletters, which we know can be quite laborious and a bit tedious to create on a bi-weekly, monthly basis. We've actually gone in and made it so that you can create a newsletter in a couple of seconds. We'll preload things dynamically. So we obviously have all the property information, the guest's name. We can pre-populate those things into an email, and it's already oriented for vacation rentals. So something like a promotional email you can set up. It'll automatically take in the photos from different properties, automatically offer, a discount for returning, and saves a lot of time. So in addition to that, unlimited emails. So whatever tier you're at with StayFi email, there's no restrictions on the amount of emails that you can send. You don't need to worry about that. And one of the more unique things that we offer is through the PMS integration, we also have the ability to enter property info automatically through something that we call property autofill. So automatically, any Wi-Fi or PMS gas data is there and available for you to use. But we also, or the email tool also knows what properties might be available in the next coming weeks, months, days. And you can specifically generate an email around that property availability, automatically pull in the name, imagery, pricing, and availability, so that when you are emailing guests, if you choose to have property information in there, you know that it's actionable at the time of send. So kind of just showing you examples from our post-departure emails and stay anniversary emails. We do see very strong results from people who are making use of this. For the post departure, around 8% in the click rate from this customer, which is amazing because they actually didn't even go in and offer the ability to give them a rating. This was specifically just to get people checking out their portfolio and rebooking. And 8% of people that got that email checked out their website and had that additional branded touch point, possibly set up a new trip with them. Same thing with the stay anniversary. I think something that's really special about that email is that when you're looking through a sea of, junk, spam, etc., that's being sent to you, if you clearly see something that reminds you of a really great trip that you took about a year ago, odds are you're going to want to open the email, check it out, reminisce a little bit. And once you're in there, you have the ability to, really persuade someone into coming back. So, um, our newsletters also are great. So, depending on what you're looking to send, I think it's always really important to be offering your guests, people who have stayed with you, a bit of a discount or some sort of reward for coming back. People also have really unique reward programs where you can maybe get a discount on local activities or, develop points. Depending on how broad your network of properties is, I think you have more power to play around with that, in offering, wide programs with a lot of different bookable experiences and things like that. But down to the lowest level, there's always something creative that you can do to make it feel like you really care about your guests and want to provide that wonderful experience for them every time consistently. But you kind of have this array within StayFi email. And then obviously for any email marketing platform that you use, we connect with almost every email marketing platform as well if you already use another service. Um, you know, having a variety of emails that you offer or email content that you offer, updates, local events, things that get people excited, not just to come back to your rental, but also the area. Because a lot of people may have had that kind of beautiful experience within your property, but for someone who is spending most of the time out of the unit and going around experiencing things, say they're in say your rental is in Thailand and you want them to come back, you can send information about a moon festival or something like that. And you're making it very, very easy for someone to one, return and to return to one of your properties. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here for a minute as we go into the live demos so we can give you guys a look into both Guest Manual and StayFi.
All right, let me know if you can see my screen okay.
Yep, all good.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to create an AI-powered guidebook for your property. Okay, so go to guestmanual.com. We have a 14-day free trial. You can exercise all features of the platform. Let's go ahead and log in. And I'll show you. Let's go ahead and go through the motions of actually creating a guest manual. Yeah. This side here. Okay. So we have templates for many different property types. We've done all the work for you. This represents over a decade of hosting experience. And so you can imagine a cabin is likely to have a hot tub, a beach house is likely to have beach access, a vineyard is likely to have wine tours nearby. That's included, that information is already included in these pre-built templates. Let's go ahead and give our property a name. Leavenworth is kind of a cool area, like a little Bavarian village near Seattle. Let's give it that location. Let's give it an internal name, a cabin, and let's give it a cover photo. Okay. Hit the create button. And there you go. There's your AI-powered guidebook. Literally took less than a minute to create. On the left here is an editor, which allows you to add sections, delete sections, edit sections. And on the right is what you're seeing is a preview of what the guest will see. One, when they get the link from the PMS after they book, And then two, when they connect to the Wi-Fi network at the house, the homepage, the StayFi homepage will have a link to their guest manual that they can click on, and this is what they'll see. It looks very Airbnb-like. It's very integrated. It looks nice. We've really focused on the design and user experience. The way the guest manual is structured is you have different categories. So info, rules, safety information, uh, tech, entertainment, and recommendations. And then you can sort of click through into any of these sections and actually view information as well. So let me make a few quick changes and you'll see how easy this is. Let's go ahead and move the washer and dryer down by the heating and cooling section. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and edit our Instagram handle. Okay. So the name of the cabin is Ponderoost. Let's say that. So you'll notice in the manual, you actually have your guest manual, you have your Instagram handle. You can click on it and actually take you to your Instagram page. I would say every property, every host should have an Instagram handle for their property with photos, videos, upcoming features. Just it goes hand in hand with like an email marketing sort of solution, as also having another way to use social to market your property. Let's go down to the hot tub section. And let's go ahead and add a photo of the hot tub. Okay, so we have full photo and video support. You can embed YouTube videos as well. And then I mentioned, one of the big sort of buckets of work that hosts have to do is maintain this list of recommendations. And it's particularly challenging for like places that are not seasonal, sort of there. I'll give you an example. The cabin in Leavenworth does really well in the summer because it's a hiking destination. In the winter, it does really well because it's a winter sports destination. And in the shoulder seasons, it does really well because it's a Bavarian town. So everybody goes there for Oktoberfest. Yeah. And so before we had a guest manual, what we had is like 4 different recommendation printouts that we would have to maintain at the property, and then we would basically swap those out at the end of every season. And of course, as places open, places close, we need to update those documents. What you're seeing here is an AI-powered recommendation engine that factors in the time of the year and is making the appropriate seasonal recommendations. So you'll notice, Icicle Brewing Company, you'll notice the Enchantment's Trail, very famous, incredibly scenic trail, highly recommended. And there's no mention in here about snowboarding or snowshoeing. Why? Because when this guest manual is being accessed, July 30th in the middle of summer, it is a summer destination. And so our AI recommendation feature sort of takes that all into account. Now, that's not to say that you can't curate this further and add your own recommendations. We have a whole separate host favorite section that you can add your own specific recommendations to. Yeah. Now, getting into the actual concierge feature, let's say you recently purchased some bikes for your cabin. Okay, so let's go ahead and choose an emoji. Notice how easy it is to actually add a new section. Let's put it under entertainment. Uh, you know, uh, you all know that it's when it comes to like writing text or writing descriptions, writing copy, it's like, it takes a lot of effort to get started. So a lot of people suffer from writer's block. We have an AI assistant feature where you can just tell it, give it some clues, and it'll do the writing for you. So let's say e-bikes are provided. Please charge after use. Okay, stored in shed. And you'll see that our AI does all the writing for you. Enjoy exploring the area with the e-bikes provided for your use. Please remember to charge them after each ride, and you'll find them stored in the shed. Okay, so you go down, you'll notice that there's a new section in your guest manual, and it shows up. Okay, now guests, when they receive this, they can browse the guest manual, but they can click on this concierge button, and what this represents is that sort of 24/7 co-host that they can literally have conversations with, right? And so before their stay, celebrating our 25th anniversary, what should we do? Okay, and this is where this is the guest manual. This is a large language model coupled with over 10 years of hosting information allowed us to build an experience where it answers the question. So they recommend a romantic dinner. They recommend wine tasting at Icicle Ridge Winery. They recommend a stroll to the waterfront park, a hike, a spa day, live music, and carriage rides. Okay, so this is before your stay. You can start asking questions like, all right, help me plan the entire trip. But let's say, you're getting closer to your trip, or maybe you're actually at the cabin, and now the focus shifts to something maybe more in the moment. What's a good coffee shop nearby? Okay, and so it recommended J5 Coffee. And remember, these aren't just questions. This is more of a conversation. So you can ask, what drink should I get? Okay. Now, it knows quite a bit about J5 Coffee already, but you have an opportunity to add information in your guest manual. Like you could say, our favorite drink at J5 Coffee is the oat milk cortado, and the digital concierge will know to pick that information up in its responses. Okay. Now back to the section that we added about bikes. Okay. Now, if I asked what, how about best way to explore the neighborhood? I would expect this to, because you you've added a section about bicycles. I would expect this to suggest different ways you can explore the neighborhood, and one of those ways to be using the e-bikes that you provided. Yeah, let's see if this. All right, so obviously it suggested a lot of different things, but it suggested walking, and get this, it suggested biking. Okay, take advantage of the e-bikes provided at your rental. Okay, and so you read this and are like, oh, e-bikes. Let's see, where are they stored? Where the Okay, and so there you go. It's using information from your guest manual to answer a lot of the questions. Now, I just showed you how easy it is to create the guest manual and then also the digital concierge feature. Now, let's talk about how easy it is to actually integrate this into your current workflow. Okay, so if I click on the share button here, there's many different ways to share your guest manual. It can be auto shared by Airbnb. If you're using a property management system, this can be shared before the stay, right after booking. Really, you can set up an automation to have this be shared with the guest at any time before the stay. And then with StayFi, the best way to share the guest manual is whenever somebody connects to the Wi-Fi network at the property, they'll see the homepage, and that has a link to the guest manual on it. In terms of actually integrating with StayFi, it's a very easy integration. You just copy this link, you log into StayFi, you go to the property, you go into the guest experience, and you update the link for your guidebook. Literally, that's all it is. Okay. And so what that does is, again, when somebody connects to the Wi-Fi network, they'll basically see the StayFi homepage. It'll have a guidebook link on it. When they click on the guidebook link, this is what they will see. Okay. And last but not least, I talked about how the platform sort of helps you become a better host or help you improve your guidebook or guest manual over time. So the way we do this is we keep track of all the chats and all the conversations that are happening. Okay, so you can go to the concierge tab, and this shows any guest, any questions that they've asked, any conversations that they've had. And what we do is we process all of this information and we provide recommendations back to the host in terms of what they can add to their guest manual in order to have more comprehensive responses to those questions going forward. Okay? So what you'll find through this is if the same questions are coming up over and over again, and the responses from the AI are good but not dialed, you have an opportunity to go into your guest manual, add a section, and now it'll start spitting out much better responses. Result of this is guidebook gets more comprehensive over time, and then you end up further reducing guest questions, and as a host, getting your life back. So that's the demo in a nutshell.
Beautiful. And then I know we're running out of time here. I do want to keep a little bit of time at the end for questions, but I will quickly show you guys the StayFi platform as well. There we go. Can you see okay?
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, I'll quickly run you guys through the StayFi dashboard as well, just so you can see where your guest manual link would be located, as well as kind of where the information is stored. This is a dummy account, obviously, so none of the emails are real, and it's going to look just a little bit funky, but um, preferred that than losing some privacy for a real account. But you can see here, this is where all of your guest data would be stored. So you can import it from the PMS, from your PMS, or you can upload a CSV. So anywhere that you have your data, you can bring it here, have it centrally available for your remarketing purposes. And then this is the guest experience tab, where you would actually go in and insert your guest manual link. As you can see here, just on a sample property, this would be the link to your homepage, and then you could customize this to specifically say guest manual, of course, if you'd like, but this is where you would put your digital guidebook link, which would be linking out directly to guest manual, as well as your other custom buttons in which you can obviously go in and customize your stores, anything that you're offering within or outside the rental, and things like e-bike rental, for example. If you're keeping it out in the shed and you have that information available within your guest manual, that e-bikes are available for rent, whatever the pricing may be. Again, this is just information that you have readily available, taking it completely off of your operators and making sure that they have that kind of instant availability, the instant access to information. This is also a really great place if you find that most people that are coming are doing a bike rental. You can even have a direct link over to renting your bikes or doing something that is one of the more popular activities. So to do that, you would just come in here, you can add your homepage link, and right here is where you would drop that guest manual link. So yeah, as you said, very, very easy, super quick. And once it's set up, you no longer have to worry about it. You're obviously just bringing guests over to your guest manual that you keep updated. So no worries in terms of making sure that the connection is continuously updating with new information or anything like that. So outside of that, in that guest experience section, this is also just a very quick look at our email marketing dashboard. So here you can see that we have our customer journeys, which are our automations. So you can go in here and very quickly set up a post-departure email, stay anniversary email, or that Wi-Fi welcome. That will be the email that brings people to your homepage / your guest manual at the Wi-Fi sign-in. These are set up very, very quickly. All of our emails use the same type of email builder. So I'll quickly show you just kind of what it would look like for a newsletter, for example. You can quickly choose the page layout that you'd like and then dive right in. And here, obviously, if you have your PMS connected, this will be a much more effective tool, which most people will do. But you'll have an available gallery of all of your images, your imagery through your PMS, and this is all modular. So depending on what you want to show, if you don't want it there, you can uncheck it and it will appear or disappear. You also have these dynamic fields, so it's automatically populating your guest's name, property name, information like that. And really at this point, depending on how much imagery you have, you come in, you select your images. At the lowest level of engagement here, you don't even need to manipulate the text if you don't want to. Obviously, if you have something special to communicate or you want to give that kind of warm touch and feel, you can go in here and edit. But depending on what you want to feature in a newsletter or an automation, you really have a lot of control to quickly build an email that's super effective and yeah, get people rebooking. So this is also just quickly what it would look like for a property autofill feature. So if you go in here and want to add featured properties, you would click on import from PMS. There's no PMS connected to the dummy account right now for that view, but we have a lot of different videos on our YouTube channel. So if you are interested in our email marketing tool, I would recommend just heading over to our YouTube, and we have both sessions on how to do better guest marketing. So within email marketing, kind of strategies that we've seen be really effective for hosts with sample emails and stuff like that, but also just a more in-depth overview of the tool and how to use it. So I do want to leave time for questions, so I'll jump out of sharing here right now, and then I will open it up. I believe the first question would be more suited to you. What LLM do you use for your chatbot?
Yeah, so we've experimented with a number of different ones. GPT-3.5, which is the LLM from ChatGPT, is one of the fastest solutions out there, but the accuracy of the responses or consistency isn't always there. So right now, these days, we use the 4.0 model from ChatGPT, and then we've uh, refined the model with over 10 years of hosting Q&A, and then we layer the guest manual on top of that information. And then all of that information then collectively used to power the Q&A in the guest manual.
Perfect. And then the next question from Sharon, who I already recognize as a StayFi customer, is looking for the pricing for guest manual for a small property with 7 rooms, slash just more information on your pricing model.
Yeah, so our pricing is for hosts that are looking to get started, we have a starter plan. It's $9.99 a month for a single property. For up to 5 properties, it's $29.99 a month. And then anything beyond that, if you treat the different rooms in your property as separate units, that would fall into our enterprise plan. And you can contact us through the website and we'll turn a quote back to you pretty quickly. Alternatively, if it's one property with 8 rooms, then that just counts as a single starter plan, or you could purchase the pro plan.
Awesome. And the last question in the queue is essentially asking what the biggest differences between guest manual and touch stay are, because we currently have a touch stay customer.
Yeah. So we run into touch stay all the time. I think the main differentiator is around the design and user experience. A large part of our team actually comes from Apple. And so if you've ever used an iPhone app, or if you've used really anything on your phone, it feels very fluid, very seamless. There's this sort of element of sort of delighting the customer that sort of comes with the experience. Uh, Touch State to us feels like a solution that's maybe 10 years out of date in terms of the design user experience. And then they also recently added a concierge, but they call it a chatbot. And I think that also kind of represents sort of where they're at in terms of how they think about AI. We refer to ourselves as an AI native solution. AI is integrated at the core. It helps you write, it helps you create the guest manual, it helps you interact with it. And their AI capabilities are a little bit more bolt on or added on after the fact. So try us out if you're a if you're a TouchStay customer. We'll help you take your TouchStay guest manual and convert it into a guest manual so you can see for yourself how much better our solution is.
And lastly, how well does it work if you would like to print your guidebook and have a printed version?
Very good question. Um, we have two printing support for two types of printouts. One is a QR code, which we've sized to fit perfectly within an IKEA frame. And so literally you can buy an IKEA frame and it'll drop in, your QR code will drop into that frame. And then we also realize that some hosts, they want a printed out solution for their Airbnb. So there is the ability to print out the entire guest manual, although keep in mind that if there's videos and links within your guest manual, those obviously won't work within a printout, but you can print out a guest manual from the platform as well.
Awesome. And then one more question, how you guys would differ from Conduit?
That actually, I have not heard of Conduit. We haven't seen that come up yet, but I'll certainly take a look at this. Take a look at it after this call, and if you want to connect with me, we can sort of set up a call where we can discuss sort of how are you using Conduit today, and then what we do maybe differently or the same as what Conduit does.
And then just for everyone's information, after the call tomorrow morning, we will be sending out an email to everyone with a live link to this recording. So you will be able to check out this recording on our YouTube channel at any time, and also drop in our emails if you have any specific questions or would like a demo or something like that. And yes, we can include the pricing again on the post email. And we do have a discount for anyone who is on the webinar right now. We've kept it nice and simple for you. We actually have the promo code set up as Guest Manual if you're not a StayFi customer. So if you want to try out StayFi, you can get 50% off of our services for 3 months when you're getting started just by using code Guest Manual. And then for Guest Manual, you can use code StayFi and you'll get 1 month free when you're getting started. Awesome. Any other questions before we wrap things up? Going once, twice, 3 times. All right, perfect. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you everyone for joining. We've really enjoyed telling you more about StayFi and Guest Manual and kind of giving you some tips on how to just really automate, really automate a 5-star guest experience, use kind of the technologies available to you at your fingertips to make all of this happen and set things up so passively. I think in the past it would have taken so long to do things like this and have that kind of cultivated both experience at the property and then keeping a relationship with guests. So, now in 2025, we have the ability to do things like this and have it not take so much time. So, yeah, thank you everyone for joining. I'll be sure to send out that email tomorrow morning. So if you want to check the recording, please do. And I'll include the promo information as well if you want to get started with either Guest Manual or StayFi.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.